Hey there, YouTube. We're jumping into a little French news, just real quick one here. But we got somebody from France who reminded me that there's still major action happening over there in France. Maybe turn that on, that would help. So we should talk about this. There was the May Day protests, but you know, there's going to be, you know, even more protests happening on Labor Day. Might have already happened. This was news 5 days ago. I'm not quite sure when Labor Day is. Excuse me. But Macron, you know, is being challenged on his insistence on raising the retirement age just 2 years. But you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. It's not, you think they're going to stop at 64? They ain't stopping at 64. If you're going to give them 64, they're going to try for 66, right, in a couple of years. So it's got to stop. The retirement age should be 50. That's my belief. The retirement age should be 50. Oh, can't afford it. Then what the fuck am I paying my government for? What am I paying? What are you doing with my money? You're taking in hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. Where is it going? Oh, we can't give you full transparency for security reasons. Bollocks. You're telling me you don't have enough money, but you're not able to tell me how much you're spending on what you're spending on. Right? So they want the best of both worlds. They want no transparency, and they also want to tell us that they're broke. Okay, if you're broke, show us the numbers. Oh, we can't show you the numbers. Fuck off.
Also known as International Workers' Day, and unions here in France are hoping people come out onto the streets en masse to protest. This after the president signed the controversial pension reform bill into law.
Oh.
It raises the retirement age from 62 to 64 by the year 2030. President Macron is eager to turn the page after pushing the bill through Parliament without any debate, without any vote. Today's demonstration set to be a litmus test for France's unions after...
I mean, that's just salt on the wound. $400 billion for the military. That's after, oh, we don't have the money for anything else. $400 billion. Homie, you're not getting invaded by France or by Russia, dude. Russia can't invade its neighbor. It's not, you're fine. You're good to go. You don't need to spend that shit on the fucking, you know. The thing is that money spent on the military, you could use that in diplomatic negotiations. Right. So, you know, you trade it around, you give it to Ukraine, you know, for a deal, a deal to lift a tariff on something, that kind of shit.
Protests have lost some steam in recent weeks. We can now go across to Lisa Kamenov standing by at Paris's Place de la République. Good afternoon to you, Lisa. What are we expected to see today?
Yeah, so I'm just off Place de la République at France's most symbolic event of the year, the May the 1st March. Now today, usually on 1st of May, you have protests like these happening across France, led by the different trade unions, environmental and political groups. Now today is expected to be a historic day in the country's social history, because for the first time in 14 years, all of the trade unions have agreed to march together, united, to protest over issues such as wages and working conditions, but especially to protest and continue their fight against the government's pension reforms, which was signed.
Holy shit, look at the news ticker. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway dumps billions of dollars of U.S. stock. Buffett says bank runs would have been catastrophic if not for deposit guarantee. Yeah, well, everyone knows that. Yeah, that's the system you set up, Buffett. Sorry. By the way, we have a news ticker. We have a news ticker, folks. Yeah. No, look at this. That's shit's crazy. Hold up. Let me show you here. I can boop. Look at that. Dumps billions of dollars in U.S. stock. Here, this is the here's the link. Here's the link to this article. Isn't this cool? This news ticker is the shit, dude. I love this. I could have had a news ticker on my computer the whole time. I've totally installed this on all my machines. This is so cool. You can add a bunch of we're legitimate. Didn't you hear? We're legitimate over here at the News Underground. But yeah, no, that's crazy ass news, dude. That is crazy ass news. Hell yeah. Getting all that sponsorship money.
by President Macron 2 weeks ago. Now, behind me, you can see there's quite a sizable crowd gathering. The trade unions are expecting around 500,000 to 1.5 million protesters across the country. Now, the police estimate that the figure may just reach 500,000, and in Paris alone, 100,000. But we will have to see if the turnout lives up to the predicted figures, because if it does, it will be a record-breaking turnout and 4 times higher than the amount of people who came to May the 1st march last year. Now, of course, we are also expecting some members of extreme left and right groups, so there is fear that violence will break out. So the police presence is incredibly.
Yeah, I don't know where Macron thinks that he's going to be able to. I mean, he squeaked through his last election, man. He squeaked through his last election, and of course, it was him up against a hardcore right winger. And of course, where's the challenge from the left? Once again, another country plagued by neoliberalism, fucking disease of neoliberalism.
High, but in general, the aim is to maintain a very festive atmosphere. You can feel there's a new kind of energy here today because this day is so historic and meaningful. And of course, protests like these are happening in 300 locations across France, notably Marseille, Lille, Bordeaux, and Toulouse.
Oh, I love that.
Lisa,
love that. That's
talk to us
cool.
about the security presence, because every time there is a protest now in Paris, at least, there's a huge security presence, and I believe drones are being used for the second time.
Absolutely. So the police are expecting around 1,000 to 2,000 members of extreme groups across the country, and these are extreme left and right groups, but also
these are the anarchists that are lighting shit on fire and throwing stones and stuff. And I don't agree with it. At the same time, I can't help but acknowledge that it applies an extra amount of pressure. Public property destruction, lighting cars on fire, breaking storefronts. It does apply an extra amount of pressure. At the same time, it is also an extremely effective anti-protesting tool, right? The authorities point to the destruction of property and they say, "See, we can't allow protesting," and it gets enough normies to agree with it. So it's this side that it kind of works, right? It's that thing that Data from Star Trek has this brilliant quote about, hey, doesn't terrorism kind of work sometimes? And Picard is like, that's a tough one, baby. That's a tough one. He was talking about the IRA, actually. I think the Troubles. It was a segment from Star Trek that was actually cut and banned in certain countries, right? So they played it once on TV and then they didn't play it on reruns. But yeah, Data's like, hey, doesn't political violence sometimes work? And Picard's like, that's really tough. That's a tough one to talk about, Dad. Data. And Dion, Macron, he really is just completely isolated. He thinks he can get away with this. In all places, France, man, you can't get away with that shit in France. Come on, man. Y'all motherfuckers protest over everything, and you get in the streets and you get violent, and you get hairy. Man, I tell you what, if people in the United States protested like the people in France, we would have cops mowing protesters down with automatic weapons. Automatic weapons.
Radicalized members of the Yellow Vest movement. So there is this fear that there will be heavy damage done to property and violence will break out on the sidelines. So in order to be fully prepared, they have mobilized 12,000 men, of which 5,000 will be in Paris alone. And as you said, for the second time, they will be using drones to survey the crowds and follow any violent clashes.
Great,
now, these have been, this move has been highly contested.
Yeah, they do that. They get your face in a database so that and then they watch you and they add you to their whatever legal surveillance that they can do to you. Are you a subversive character? Wear masks. It's no longer faux pas, folks. It's no one. No one's gonna judge you anymore. Just put on a mask. Put on a surgical mask. Don't let the government put you on that list. They're going to do it anyway, right? But try to impede their efforts, try to slow their efforts, try to make it as difficult as possible for them to do that. But yeah, this is just, you know, they're going to do that until we the people make it illegal for them to do that to us.
Across social media, but the police did say the drones are not allowed to record audio, and they also are not allowed to have facial recognition.
Oh,
but
yeah,
in addition to these
fucking
drones,
right. So you record the video and then do the facial recognition after you've made it legal. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking losers. Get the fuck out of here. You think we're stupid? Oh, yeah, I know. We can record the video, no audio, though. We're not going to do any facial recognition until we make it legal, and then we're going to go through all the video and facial recognize everybody. Fuck off.
the Interior Minister has also asked for all the prefects of all the police to be present in every protest across France. As for the trade unions, the processions are meant to be very secure. The members are cordoned off and are surrounded by security guards, so no members of the public that are walking beside them on the street can actually enter the procession. So everyone is working hard to ensure
Put it in the Discord. I'll show it to everybody.
Be extremely secure, but of course, we never know how the situation will develop.
Lisa, thank you very much for that.
No, and that's what makes French activism so effective. You know, the dynamicism of it all. Why are the acts of process of overreach celebrated all across the world except the United States? Well, that's not exactly true. I mean, the fact is that there are tyrannical and authoritarian attitudes in every country, and every country is dealing with people who are protesting for a better life, and the people that say, oh, you shouldn't be disruptive and you should do what the government says, and that's a dynamic that happens everywhere, really. And it really is like a kind of a curse of democracy. Really, is that we have to make these arguments. We can't just be authoritarian and just say, nope, we're going to make, you're going to do it by force, because we've seen that doesn't work. Of course, the authoritarians that have tried that in the past. So you can't wear a mask in a demonstration. You risk 1 year in prison. You got to do it. And I've seen it. I've seen the footage of the French police ripping masks off people and spraying them directly with mace. But you're Dion, you have to understand that they criminalize your presence. You're already breaking the law just by being there. So if you're already breaking the law just by being at the protest, there's no harm in you wearing a mask, even if it's illegal. Break that law. Break that law. If they've made literally just being there illegal, then make that decision. People are tired of capitalism. That's debatable. That's actually quite debatable. I think there's a lot of people that really enjoy capitalism, but they just don't enjoy being exploited by capitalists. 1 second here, folks. Hey, everybody. Say hi to Zaphoid Beeblebrox. It's my son right here. Mama needs a break, so he's coming to hang out with Daddy for a minute. Say hi, buddy. Say hi, Buckaroo. Zaphoid Beeblebrox is, of course, the president of the universe, actually. But he's currently AWOL right here. This is where he ran. Little guy. Looks a little like me. What a shame. Got Kronos over here with the burns. Kronos with the burns. Okay, well, there you go, YouTube. That's my French update. Coming up next is our insurrection